If someone came up to me and said, I hate white people, I hate you because you're white, did I just experience racism from that?
No.
But if I said those exact same words and twisted the skin color, it would be racist.
Absolutely, 100%.
I did not go through that course of who can be racist towards each other. Interesting,
right.
but
Probably
I'm
because
good.
you're white. So
Oh, because I'm white, I didn't go through the racism course.
probably not.
Yes or no? Can white people experience racism?
No.
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 No?
No. By definition, no.
What's the definition?
I would have to Google it really quickly, but
Do that for me.
okay. Let me Google it for you. Oh, not me on 5%.
Welcome back, everyone. There's no doubt that some individuals labeled as woke often have the most delusional mindsets in the world. But what happens when they come face to face with intellect and reality? Today, we're diving into two astonishing instances where delusional woke people got completely owned. These encounters are not just comical, they reveal the absurdity of some ideologies when they're confronted with cold, hard facts. So grab your popcorn and get ready for some eye-opening moments. Let's start with a jaw-dropping exchange featuring Judge Sarah, who faced off against Senator Ted Cruz during a hearing. This case has been circulating online, and it showcases a troubling scenario where ideology completely clouds judgment. In a recent courtroom drama, Judge Sarah was confronted by Cruz regarding her decision to allow a 6'2" male inmate who maintained his male genitalia to be housed in a women's prison.
Does height matter?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah. You want me to step on the scale?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you think height matters. So if you could judge based on height, I could judge based on weight.
So you're calling me fat?
We're about to see right now.
No, I'm
Let's see
good.
it.
I'm good.
Then just take it back. Say height doesn't matter.
No, because height does matter. I want what I want.
And I want what I want. So if I want a light woman, then I should have a light woman. Then just step on. Don't be a coward. Step on
I'm
the
not
scale.
a coward.
Well, you're backing
I
out
can
of
tell
it.
you my weight.
Well, that's why we got the scale, so we can tell you your weight.
Short kings don't matter, but big queens do. Let's just accept that love is love, yeah?
Identify as black? No, it's a serious question because you might not identify. Can you please put the mic? Thank you. Okay.
When I walked into the room,
I am not done with my question.
Hey, young lady.
I'm just asking you to listen to me while I ask my
I'm about to answer your
Okay,
first question.
But I didn't finish my question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm black.
Less than 9% of the people in this room are black. I think there are racial inequalities in America, and how do you feel about Trump increasing both economic inequality and discrimination for people of color and LGBTQ people? What about violence against marginalized people in the United States? Can you talk about that?
The reason? He identified as a trans woman. Now, this isn't just a simple matter of identity. It raises serious concerns about the safety and rights of female inmates. Ted Cruz. Well, Judge Netburn, I'm going to continue on this line of questioning in your court. What matters more, the rights of individuals or your political ideology? Zrenia. This question struck at the heart of the matter. Cruz was probing deeper, challenging the judge's reasoning and drawing attention to a fundamental conflict between ideology and the law. Judge Sarah, I apply the law to the facts. Zrenia, Ted Cruz. Я спросил вопрос, which matters more? Zrenia, this back and forth was crucial. It wasn't just a question about law, it was about moral responsibility and the implications of decisions made by those in power. Judge Sarah, my political ideology doesn't matter at all. Zrenia, Ted Cruz. Окей, так я не верю. This case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. Zrenia, Cruz не давал уступать. He cited the background of the male defendant, who had a long history of violent crimes, including raping a 9-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl. Ted Cruz. Was he guilty? Swing Judge Sarah. I hope so, because she pled guilty. Cruz pressed on, emphasizing the man's past. Ted Cruz. He was a he when he did this. That's correct? Logically, Judge Sarah. Yes. Зрение в комнате было ощутимым, как Круз умело ориентировался в разговоре. He was making a critical point that many in the audience were likely thinking, how could someone with such a violent history be given a second chance at the expense of vulnerable women? Ted Cruz: you took a 6'2" serial rapist with male genitalia and said, you know what? I'd like to be in a women's prison. Your answer was, that sounds great to me. This is where the absurdity of the situation became crystal clear. Cruz was highlighting the fundamental flaw in Sarah's judgment by prioritizing the ideology over the safety and rights of actual women. Judge Sarah: I considered the facts presented to me and reached a decision. Zrenia: but Cruz wasn't done. He had more questions. Ted Cruz: what about the rights of the women in that prison? Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat offender as their cellmate? With every question, Cruz drove home the point that the women in that prison had rights that needed protection. Judge Sarah: every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space. Zrenia: Ted Cruz: no вы не думали так. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. Component placement. He quoted Sarah's own words back to her, calling into question the legitimacy of her decisions. Ted Cruz: the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say, that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and you say, congratulations, you have a little boy or a little girl. The assigned gender? I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like something out of a college faculty lounge with no bearing on reality. Logically, this moment perfectly encapsulated the disconnect between woke ideology and the lived experiences of everyday people. Cruz was laying it out plainly. Reality doesn't conform to political correctness. Cruz was laying it out plainly. Reality doesn't conform to political correctness. Ted Cruz: the Bureau of Prisons argued what I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of sexual assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. It's component placement. The tension escalated further as Cruz read from Sarah's own order. Ted Cruz: you wrote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate. The Bureau of Prisons claim penological interests in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate. That's kind of you to say, but there are no signs that the petitioner is at risk of reoffending. He continued, hitting her with facts and data, showing how her decision was not just misguided, but potentially dangerous. Ted Cruz: in what universe is someone who is a serial rapist not at risk of reoffending? Zrenia: Judge Sarah: Senator, as I do in every case. Component placement. Ted Cruz: I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. Zrenia: in this tense back and forth, Cruz stood firm, using facts and reason to dismantle the judge's arguments. This exchange not only highlighted the absurdities of woke ideology, but also demonstrated how critical it is to prioritize safety and common sense over political correctness. And that was just one shocking encounter. Now let's move on to another mind-boggling moment where a woke individual faced an undeniable reality check. You won't want to miss this. In this next scene, we find ourselves at a college debate that spirals into an astonishing display of delusion. A student stands at the podium, passionately arguing that men can give birth simply because they identify as women. Yes, you heard that right. Student: it's simple biology. Anyone who identifies as a woman can give birth. Zrenia: the audience gasps as the panelists exchange bewildered looks. One of the panelists, clearly taken aback, leans forward to address the student. Panelist: so, you're saying a man with male reproductive organs can give birth? Zrenia: student: Yes, because gender is a social construct. This argument opened the floodgates to a round of laughter from the audience, but the panelist continued to press for clarity. Panelist: okay, but biologically speaking, a male cannot give birth. It's a matter of anatomy. Swing student: well, that's just a misconception. If someone identifies as a woman, then they should be treated as one. Logically, the panelist, now visibly frustrated, countered the student's argument with logic and reason. Panelist: but we're not talking about feelings here. We're discussing biological facts. A person's anatomy doesn't change based on their identity. Zrania people can transition and become whoever they feel they are. Swing: this back and forth highlighted the core issue, a clash between feelings and facts. While identity is essential, biology doesn't conform to personal beliefs. The audience watched in disbelief as the student continued to dig a deeper hole for themselves, desperately trying to maintain their stance. Panelist: so you're saying that if I were to declare that I'm a bird, I should be able to fly? That's how absurd this argument is. Zrania: the comparison was stark and drew laughter from the audience once again. The panelist was illustrating a fundamental truth. Identifying as something doesn't change the reality of one's biology. Student: it's not the same. Gender and species are completely different. Zrania: panelist: but the principle remains. You can't just declare your way into a biological reality. It's not how the world works. Swing: as the debate continued, it became increasingly clear that the student's argument was falling apart under scrutiny. The audience had a front row seat to the absurdity of trying to redefine biology through sheer willpower. And just like that, another delusional woke individual got thoroughly owned. These moments remind us that while discussions around gender and identity are essential, they must be grounded in reality. Both of these encounters showcase how, when delusional woke ideologies clash with reality, it often leads to humorous yet enlightening moments. It's a crucial reminder that facts matter and that sometimes a good reality check is just what's needed to cut through the noise.